Hey everyone, my name's Anxiety Offline, and tonight we're gonna set up a brand new fingerboard from Balcony. So this is a Penthouse Popsicle 7-ply 29mm deck from Balcony. It's a brand new one I just got, and I haven't seen very many 29mm 7-plies, so I think this one's pretty unique. And it came with a really awesome patch that I haven't seen yet. Really cool. Awesome little add-in. Definitely gotta find something really cool to add this onto or put this onto. And so let's get into the deck though, without further ado. And I gotta say, I'm always very impressed with Balcony's craftsmanship. The decks always just look so amazing. You can see the 7-plies in there. And the 7-ply decks aren't overly thick. He uses kind of a thinner veneer for his 7-plies. So they still kind of have the overall profile of a 5-ply, but they have the pop of a 7-ply, so that's pretty cool. And as you can see, the expertly applied graphic there looks very amazing. I love the RealWear graphics they do. They always just look so realistic and wear in so nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and put a few stickers on here and apply my grip tape. And then, as always, I use the metal file, AKA the chainsaw file, to get the perfect grip job every single time. And I do sell these on my shop as well if you want to ever grab one. They're only $1 a piece. And then I use a good old-fashioned paper clip, just kind of make some holes in the grip tape. It's not perfect, but at least it kind of makes way for the screws. When I put the screws in, they kind of go in cleanly and I'm not fighting with that grip tape to kind of punch through it. The trucks I'll be using are some 29mm BRTs with some abstract street slim wheels. So we're mounting our trucks here, and I like to go in a crisscross pattern, so I'll start in 2 of the corners, get those 2 squared away first, and then return back to the other 2 corners and get those ones squared away. I feel like when you go in a nice crisscross pattern like that, it gets the truck locked in very nice and evenly. And then I do check as well the screw length on the bottom of the deck just to make sure that it's equal on all sides. The last thing I'm going to do is take a sheet of tape and kind of give that grip tape kind of a couple sticks and pulls with that tape, because I feel like it helps it wear in a little bit faster. That stock grip tape, the brand new out of the package, is a little bit slippery for me, but when I go ahead and do this a couple times, it seems to kind of break in a little bit faster and nicer. So it's all set up now, and let's give it a shot, see what you think. And overall, this deck feels amazing. The craftsmanship is wonderful. It feels just like I thought it would, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get some tricks, let's make an edit, and let's really break this thing in. All right, hope you all enjoyed that edit. I had a lot of fun making it. I gotta say, this deck absolutely shreds. And again, just to recap, this is a 29mm Popsicle Penthouse 7-ply fingerboard from Balcony Ltd. Now, my closing thoughts on this 29mm deck here are that it feels absolutely great. I really like it a lot. It's a nice change up from my last deck that I was using on these trucks before, which was a millimeter wider and had a little bit more of a boxy nose. This one has the same wheelbase, but because of the little added space I got on the nose, it does feel a little bit bigger overall. And I like that though, because it makes the fingerboard feel, for me, a little more maneuverable. Now, I did make one interesting observation when using this deck compared to my other Penthouse Popsicles. I've had this one in 30 millimeter, 33 millimeter, 34 millimeter, and I think 32 millimeter as well. But one observation I made is that the skinnier you go with this mold, the steeper the deck actually feels. And that could be all in my head because they look visually the same, but when I skate this one, it does feel a little bit steeper than my 33 millimeter deck of the same shape and concave. My 33 and 34 millimeter Balcony Penthouse Popsicles and the Penthouse J8, they kind of feel more like medium high, when this one definitely feels like a defined high kick. But I gotta say, that being said, it doesn't feel dramatically high like other decks I've tried. I've tried like a Beast Pans, for example, and that one definitely felt like very steep, or almost like walls on each end. This doesn't feel quite like that, but it just feels a little bit more taller than I'm used to, and I'm kind of used to like a G15, kind of like that kind of kick height. So it doesn't feel snowskate high, but it just feels higher than some of my other decks. And I'm sorry, my lighting is all over the place right now. The sun is going like in and out of the clouds, just can't control it, so I'm just gonna kind of keep rolling with it. Either way, I'm going to be riding this deck for quite a while. I like it a lot so far. The only thing I'm considering changing right now is possibly the trucks. I have always been a BRT fanboy, but on a couple decks recently, I've switched out BRTs for dynamics, and I gotta say, I really like the added wheelbase. It gives some of my other decks brand new life, and I gotta say, some decks just go better with dynamics, other decks just go better with BRT. It just kind of depends on kind of your feel and just the deck and all kinds of stuff. Mostly just your opinion though. So I'm wondering how 29mm dynamic trucks would feel on this deck. I think eventually I may give it a shot, but I'm going to keep sessioning it as is for a while. And at the time of this video, I got it set up with 29mm BRTs, Lightwork purple bushings, and then some Lab Legacy R wheels. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I gotta say, I absolutely love this deck for its functionality and its craftsmanship. Balcony always just knocks out of the park with their decks. Everything just looks always so amazing. It's wearing in really nicely too. It's literally like a miniature skateboard. Just so cool, so cool. You can find out more about them at BLCNYLTD.com. Don't forget, I also have my own run of Balcony Anxiety Offline collab decks available on my website, anxietyoffline.com. So if you want to support me and support this channel, go over and grab one. So that's about it for today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see y'all next time. Take it easy. Peace. Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Anxiety Offline, back again today for another video. This is one I'm really excited about. I got one of the new obstacle sets from Tech Deck. This is a really cool Pro Series set that features 2 metal obstacles. I thought I missed out on these. I couldn't find them in stock anywhere, but I managed to get one. I'm really excited. Let's take a closer look at the set together and get into the video. All right, just grabbed it off the porch. Here it is from Target.com. Stalked that website for days, and just randomly I went to go refresh it and saw it was in stock, and I grabbed it. Boom, like that. Probably within like 5 or 10 minutes it was sold out, so I'm super glad that I was able to grab it. But here it is. Of course, Target does not use bubble wrap. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's a metal obstacle anyway, or metal obstacles. Let's get into it and see what it looks like. Very excited. Having metal picnic table is definitely going to be very fun. I'll use some bubble wrap. There's some in here, so that's good. Very heavy packaging. Here it is. Definitely about the size I expected, probably for the box. Very heavy though, so that's pretty cool. So there it is. You can see the picnic table and the bike rack there on the front. So those are going to be the 2 pieces in there. As you can see, looks very cool. If you want to pause the video and take a closer look, feel free. It also comes with a skate tool, which is pretty cool. I don't really have many of those Tech Deck skate tools, so we'll see if it's cool at all. If it works well. Hopefully it does. But either way, I guess they have to, because you have to put it together, and it also includes little screws. That's probably why they really give it to you. But either way, just broke the seal here, and let's open it up and see how everything looks. Ooh, got some fingerboarding gear built for pros, little package insert there, and then we also got some instructions on how to kind of put everything together, which is pretty cool. And we got some protective stuff in here, and here is the tabletop surface. It looks really nice. It's actually like maybe a little bit smaller than I expected, but it's pretty much about the size I thought it would be, so that's pretty cool. It's definitely the size where it's small enough you probably could, like, once it's all put together, obviously, probably be a decent travel obstacle, but super high quality, very heavy. Just the top piece itself is just a very heavy piece of metal. It's got the Tech Deck Pro logo kind of embossed in there, which is pretty cool. And very heavy. I like the lines in there as well. It definitely feels like kind of, looks realistic. I feel like I've seen picnic tables in real life that have that same kind of patterning on there, so it's pretty cool. It'll also feel really nice when grinding. And little benches feel equally as nice and weighty, very heavy. You can tell they're made from like a nice quality die cast or whatever it may be. And I imagine it is probably die cast. So that being said, if you wanted to, you probably even could treat this kind of like a Hot Wheel. I know some of y'all know I used to really enjoy customizing Hot Wheels. So, kind of in theory, you could kind of treat this thing like a Hot Wheel body, hit it with some aircraft paint thinner, melt the paint off, and then repaint it kind of any color you wanted to. Probably using some like Tamiya model paint or something kind of meant for metal. But I wonder if we'll see any customs of these. That could be kind of cool. There's the other bench piece. We got all three out. And here's the bike rack. Looks really nice. It's kind of a raw metal. Let's get it out of there. That's really, really cool. It's and then this should work well with the Tech Deck bikes, I'm pretty sure. I think the wheels should fit like right through there. Definitely got some nice weight to it as well. Nice detail. Pretty tall, I gotta say too. It's taller than I thought it would be. So that's pretty cool. And here is. So then we're getting down to the bottom of the box here. We got the two legs for the picnic table. So those will kind of go together with the benches. And we'll put it all together in a minute. But there is the legs. Looks like those are kind of like a powder coated metal as well, because they're like a nice bright uniform silver. Kind of compared to the bike rack, which is more of like a raw, which is more just like a raw die-cast look. There's no coating on there, I'm pretty sure. Definitely has that like raw metal look, which is pretty cool. Oh, cool. Okay, so that's awesome. The tool they give you is one of the metal ones. I'll show it to you closer in a minute. But they give you the metal tool and then a bunch of screws. The screws are definitely different than Tech Deck screws. They're like a lot like fatter, whatever, a lot bigger. But the metal tool is very, very nice. They give you like a little ball chain too, so you can kind of put it on your keys as well. That's awesome. And then the last two pieces down here are the legs for the bike rack. And these also have the same, kind of have the same look as the bike rack itself, kind of that raw metal. One cool thing though is both of these have these rubber feet, kind of like, get it to focus. I'll show you a close-up, but it's got these rubber feet in the bottom that are like kind of permanently in there. Those are definitely not coming out, so that's really, really cool. Does the picnic table have anything like that? Oh, the picnic table also, that's really nice, has these two indentions here, and there's rubber strips in there. So I'm sure if you tried hard enough, you could probably pull them out, but I imagine they are maybe inset. That's pretty cool that the non-sticks are kind of worked into the obstacle themselves. I think that's pretty neat. All right, so that is all she wrote. Let's put this away and then let's go put everything together. All right, y'all, real quick, don't forget, I have my own website, anxiettyoffline.com, where I sell a whole array of concrete obstacles and supplies. I sell obstacles, bushings, files, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So if you want to grab some fingerboard gear and support this channel, definitely head over to anxiettyoffline.com and check out the store. If there's something you want on there that's not in stock, let me know by leaving a comment down below and I'll restock it very soon. I refresh the site regularly, so keep an eye out for new stuff. All right, back to the video. So putting it together was pretty easy. They do a lot to make sure that you can't really mess anything up. There's certain notches in the legs that correspond with notches kind of on the actual bike rack itself. So you have to put it a certain way. You can't put it the wrong way, otherwise it just like won't go together. So same with the picnic table. It kind of has to go one way, otherwise it won't really work. So I recommend having a bigger screwdriver because the one they give you is very, very small and probably going to be annoying to use to do that many screws. A bigger one helped a lot, but besides that, it was pretty easy. And here they are complete. There's the picnic table, very, very cool. And then there is the bike rack. So the construction on these is very, very nice. They're very, very heavy, very weighty. There's no plastic used in these at all. The only rubber pieces are like the rubber feet in there. The rest of these are solid metal, and definitely shows. So I've been liking them a lot. I've been sessioning both of these constantly since I got them on Friday, and today is Monday. It's been a couple days. But before I give you my final thoughts, let's see what the homies at Sunday Sesh thought of the picnic table here.
So we think it's great quality. It's a good build. It's solid. It's nice and heavy, but it is massive considered to the OG one.
True that.
Any opinions on it?
I kind of wish it was longer.
Yeah, same.
Man, that shit just heavy as
It's pretty sturdy though. I'll give it
Oh
that.
yeah, it's solid. It's definitely solid and not moving. It's definitely more of a quick hit obstacle.
Yeah.
But it is high, super high.
What do you think out of 10? What would you guys give it?
7.
I was gonna say 7.
7. I give it a 7.
Probably
Seven.
like a 6.
6 or 7 on 10? Hell yeah. Cool, thanks guys.
For you.
As you can see, on average, this got a score of about 7 out of 10, which I gotta say is a pretty good, accurate assessment. All said and done, the set cost about $42 shipped. Obviously, if you could find it in store, it would be a little bit cheaper, but good luck finding this thing in store. It's hard enough to find online. So far, Target, Slush Cult, and I'm pretty sure Exodus Skate Shop has had some of these in stock, but I haven't seen any other stores with them so far. So is $40 a fair price point for both of these? I would say yes. It'd be cool to find it in stores to get a little bit cheaper, but if you can only get it online, I gotta say for 40 bucks, I'm definitely pretty happy. These are some nice obstacles here. There's a couple things I would change about the bike rack though. The bike rack is a little bit tall. I wish they would put that the more emphasis into the length rather than the height. Because I think if it was just a little bit longer, it would be absolutely perfect. This is a really nice quality piece. I like that it screws together, so if you ever needed to, you could unscrew it, put it in your bag, and very easily travel with it. The only problem I think with it is that it's a little bit tall and a little bit short. If you like tall obstacles, that's great, but if this thing just had another inch or two, it'd be about the same length as the Blackriver bike rack or the Flatface bike rack, a lot of the more popular ones that we see. So if it had that length and like maybe just a little bit shorter height, it would still have these same bars in here and the same, you know, raw metal characteristics and the same quality, I would definitely mess with it a lot more. I like the round rail on top. It feels nice to grind on. It is just a little bit tall and a little bit short, and that's my only critique on it. Also, the screws, you're gonna have to keep retightening here and there because just kind of happens with like metal on metal. This one, you can kind of get some wiggle in there. One more thing, these feet are very wide on this thing. I gotta say, they're very wide, but for some reason, when you hit it from certain angles, it does want to tip over. So you might need to even tape these feet down or, you know, do something to kind of help it stay totally solid on the ground, even though these feet are so wide. And again, it's probably because it's just so tall. If it was a little bit shorter, then, you know, you probably wouldn't have that happening. Even though I have those critiques, it still is a very nice, very fun piece. Anybody could grab this, pick this thing up, and have a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of possibilities with it. Another cool thing is the Tech Deck bikes fit in these, you know, these tire holders here. So if you wanted to, it would make a really great display piece. You could easily display, you know, 5 Tech Deck bikes and then a couple Tech Decks too if you wanted to, with, you know, and they're making an awesome display piece, awesome desk piece. But as well, it's an awesome piece to sesh. The metal feels very nice. It's very high quality. This thing is all metal all the way through, and then these rubber feet are inset in here. It's hard to even, I guess you could tear them out if you wanted to, but they're set in there very nice, nice and permanent, which is pretty cool. And it's all, like I said, it's got the screwed together construction. So if you wanted to, you could kind of take it apart, put it in your bag, and very easily travel with it. But still, you could probably even just put it in your bag as is and not really worry about it too much besides losing a screw. I'd recommend tightening it as good as possible before doing that. But you can easily throw it in your bag and never worry about this getting bent or anything. It's a very solid, very nice die-cast construction, and it is raw metal, so if you wanted to, you could probably give this thing a pretty cool paint job. But that is the 2024 Tech Deck bike rack there. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the picnic table. And in my opinion, the picnic table kind of is the star of the show when it comes to this set. Just like the bike rack, it has metal construction all the way through. It has screws that you kind of screw, you screw everything together. There's no plastic involved anywhere in this. And just like the bike rack, this one also has some inlaid rubber feet, which are very cool. Now, one thing I noticed with this one, I'm not sure if it's just mine or if it could be more of them, so if you have the same one, let me know below in the comments, but mine did have like a slight wobble once I got it all together. I really could not figure out why. I went and loosened a bunch of the screws and retightened everything, made sure everything was like nice and flush. It still had a slight wobble. I was able to fix it by just putting an extra couple pieces of foam tape on the on one of the legs there. So that seemed to fix the issue. That was really my only gripe with it. And even though I feel the bike rack is a little bit short, I don't feel the same with this one. When I originally ordered it, I did think, oh, it'll kind of be a little bit of a smaller obstacle, but I like that it's metal. I definitely want to get it and test it out for a video. But since I got it, I actually like it a lot more than I thought I would. The length of this one seems, I wouldn't call it perfect. I think if it had a little more, maybe an inch or two, it would be a little bit more fun. But overall, the size of this thing does feel very nice relative to a fingerboard. I've been doing a lot of really cool tricks on here, and just overall, even though I thought it was going to be a smaller obstacle, the size really isn't bothering me. It's a really fun one to do tricks on. And I gotta say, the most fun thing about this obstacle, in my opinion, really is just the feel of it. When you go to grind on this one, or just to do tricks on it in general, the sounds it makes and just the way it feels on your trucks, on your wheels, is very, very satisfying. The fact that it's just so heavy and it's all metal all the way through gives it just a very, very nice feel. I'm glad that a big company like Tech Deck, like Spin Master, is putting more emphasis into doing stuff like this and not just doing all plastic fingerboards or all plastic ramps. Like doing things as cheap as possible, especially when they have the access and the ability to do really cool high quality mass-produced pieces like this, because they are definitely going to sell. There's definitely a market for this kind of stuff. These things are sold out everywhere. Sorry, I lost some of my light. The sun's starting to go down, but these things are sold out everywhere. It's kind of hard to find one right now, so I really hope Spin Master and Tech Deck kind of get that memo and kind of start doing more stuff like this, because this is the stuff that fingerboarders want right here. This is the kind of stuff that'll draw more fingerboarders to Tech Deck, in my opinion. Now, whereas this one is a raw metal, this one is completely powder coated. So the tabletop and the benches here have a nice red powder coat on there, and then the legs have like a silver powder coat. So they're not raw, they actually have a silver paint on there to kind of give them a uniform look, which is pretty cool. I'm almost tempted to take the paint off the legs and maybe leave the tabletop as is, or I've even thought about painting the tabletop blue, because these picnic tables look a lot like these ones they have in my local parks that have like a blue top and blue benches. But I think that would be a cool custom idea, because this thing is die cast, so essentially you can treat it kind of like a Hot Wheel. You can throw it in some aircraft paint thinner, strip all that paint off there, and then repaint it, or even just leave it as is. I imagine it would have a nice raw metal look. So this is a very, very cool piece. A lot of possibilities when it comes to customization, when it comes to doing tricks. And I imagine this one will make a cool desk piece as well. And I want to talk a little bit about the weathering, because it is a metal painted object after all. And I've been sessioning it all weekend, and so far it's taken basically no beating. I mean, there's some shallow scratches in there and everything, but it's taken basically no beating. There's a couple spots where the paint has chipped and everything like that, but it's the powder coat paint job on there is very, very nice. It still looks beautiful. I'm looking forward though to the day where I hope I touch this thing for long enough to where these edges, start to become totally worn away. I imagine this thing will wear in very, very nice if you do sesh it for a long time. So overall, 7 out of 10 I think is a fair score for this, considering the price point, the size. But I do gotta say, this is like This is one of my favorite things Tech Deck has made in the past. I don't even know how long, and they should definitely do more stuff just like this. This is the kind of stuff we want. Very high quality, even though it's mass produced, just a very, very nice, very nice piece. I've been enjoying this one a lot. And I like these lines a lot in here too. It's kind of the last thing I want to touch on. I like the fact they went the extra mile to not only put the separations kind of in the thirds there, but then to also add these kind of accents, because they do feel nice. If you can hit it from this side, which is kind of hard and even more technical, it does feel pretty cool. So that there is the Tech Deck bench. All right, so I gotta say, these obstacles are super fun. I've been enjoying them a lot. I definitely recommend them if you can find them. They're kind of hard to find right now, but if you can manage to get your hand on a set, definitely grab one. I would give it a solid 7 or 8 even out of 10. And I really hope Tech Deck does more stuff like this coming in the future. So, I'm Anxiety Offline. Don't forget, I drop new fingerboard content every single week. So if you want to watch more videos just like this, leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you back here next week. I have hours of fingerboarding content on this channel. Check out my backlog videos for a variety of fingerboard edits, tutorials, and just a bunch of cool videos in general. So that's about it. Don't forget, check out anxietyoffline.com, and I'll see you back here again next week. Thanks so much for watching. Peace. Yo, what's up, fingerboarding fam? Really quick video today. It's going to be a talking video, and we're going to talk about this Tech Deck concrete mold that's out right now, and if it's worth to get. Obstacle molds can be hard to find sometimes, so the fact that you can get one, you know, like from Target or your local big box store is pretty cool, but is it worth it? I found 2 major flaws with this mold that we're going to talk about. It's a bummer because this thing's super close. Like, Tech Deck could do so much better by putting in just like 5% more effort. So my 2 main issues with this thing is, the first one is the size. So compared to a regular fingerboard, where's a Tech Deck? Compared to a Tech Deck, like, I mean, it's only like, you know, 2 Tech Decks long maybe. And it's about as tall as a Tech Deck is too. So it's really tiny. It's almost more fit for like a miniature fingerboard, one of those little tiny Tech Decks with like the single screw kingpin, whatever things. So this ledge side is cool, but this side is like really small. I mean, you can use it, but it's tiny. Like, this 2-stair really isn't even a 2-stair. It's more of just like a little curb to hop off. But I don't even think it's really a half-inch tall. That's my main issue with it, is the size. It's so tiny. If it was like 25% bigger, it would be perfect, but at this size, it's a little bit hard to use. Another thing is that the mold is plastic. So plastic and concrete don't go together too well. And I know that this is meant to go, like, this mold is meant to be used with kinetic sand, that stuff it comes with, this stuff here, but we're talking about, you know, if the mold is good for concrete in this purpose. So plastic and concrete don't go together so well, and I should have brought the mold inside for the actual video, but it has these hinges that you open up, and then it, like, a whole side of the mold opens up, and you can take your cement piece out. So because of that, you have this big line that goes all the way, I'll do a close-up, but it goes all the way down here. And it's like this big seam line, pretty much. You can kind of see the remnants of it, if I put it in the light the right way, right there. So to get rid of it, you got to sand it down, and when you sand it, the surface gets smooth, but not really like ideally smooth. The surfaces on this thing are very rough. For instance, like this one, I mean, if you have Tech Deck trucks, for instance, like, it's hard to even really grind on. Like, you get caught on it constantly. And then this side, even if you have nice trucks, I mean, it just, like, it tears them up. This side's super rough. So the mold really isn't, like, for concrete, it's just not ideal. The concrete was not really working well with it. Then again, it could have been my mix of concrete, you know, of course, It could have been my mix of concrete, but I really think it was just the mold in general, you know, itself doing its thing. And then one last thing that has this little kicker edge, you know, up here, and I ended up putting a little metal sheet there to kind of make it transition to the ground, because this thing just had no hope of, it actually doesn't look too bad right now, but you could tell it was like ready to crack. And in my opinion, this thing is really not the greatest obstacle mold out there. You could do so much better for $15 elsewhere. So in my opinion, stay away from it. Don't get it. It's probably not worth your money or your time. But if you got 15 bucks to burn and you want to like mess around with some concrete and get like a new obstacle in your arsenal, then, you know, hey, check it out. You might get some fun out of it, some use out of it or whatever. So I made an edit with it. We'll go ahead and play that now. I don't want this video to get too long. But that is my 2 cents on the Tech Deck concrete mold. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Yo! I'm back again, another quick video. Today we're going to do a review of the Flatface G8 wheels. But first, as you probably saw in my short videos and in my last video, I've been having a lot of fun pouring concrete. This is just a blem one, but it's the most fun one actually. I've been shredding this one a lot. I love the half barriers. They're super fun. So yeah, I got these kind of barriers, I got these kind of barriers, and I got curbs. So if you're interested, I'll do one of each of these shipped to your door with graffiti on this one for 50 bucks. As I can fit all 3 of these nice and neatly into a flat rate box. So for 50, you can get all 3. I think that's the best concrete deal in fingerboarding right now. So definitely take advantage of it. Working on how to make my own silicone molds and things like that. So hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys some unique stuff going forward. But for now, we got barriers, so if you want one, hit me up, baby. Today, we're here to talk about some wheels.
Flatface G4 wheels.
Flatface G8 wheels. So I get a lot of people commenting on my videos saying, do you like the Flatface G8 wheels? And so I just get enough comments on them where I'm like, hey, I should do a review. And I gotta say, I really, really like these wheels. Now, I think they get a bad rap because they're plastic. A lot of people want urethane. But let me tell you my experience with these wheels. So, I got them when they first came out. I think I might have been one of the first people to get them. Put them on my G15 right away. I haven't used them on any other setup besides my G15. I have a G15 with 32mm BRTs, and then I'm riding these wheels. And they go with this setup perfectly. I cannot imagine, like, I love these ill pills right here and I like how they spin, like how they ride, but I honestly cannot imagine riding another kind of wheel on this setup. It just feels so insanely dialed in and so perfect that I don't even want to change anything about it. And I think a lot of that has to do with these wheels. When it comes to the spin, these wheels, they spin, they free spin just a little bit, not for too long. You know, like I have the ill pills here. These things free spin for a good, 10-20 seconds. The G8s will free spin for, 5-10 seconds, not very long. But that doesn't really mean shit, honestly, because I've heard from other fingerboarders that if you have bearings that spin like this, that could mean that they're damaged, broken, that there's stuff inside of them. I'm not sure how true that is, but these wheels definitely aren't very free spinny. But doesn't mean shit. So when I first got them, they were definitely super silent. They were super glossy, and they function super well. But I think the more I ride them, the better they start to feel. I think they're kind of wearing in. I'm looking at them now underneath this light, and they definitely don't have that same gloss that they used to. They kind of look more like satin or matte coated now. They don't pick up a lot of dirt. They have some ridges on the very side. That maybe you'll see some darkening in there, but these wheels don't pick up a lot of dirt. I've even skated them at like on like a Fresh Coast Fingers Park. You know, I took this one to the event actually, and I was surprised. Like through that whole event, it didn't really, the wheels really didn't pick up that much dirt at all. Maybe a little bit, but not that much. I was talking to Freshwater FB at the event, and he has the same wheels. He got them at the same time I did, and he said something to me that I didn't really notice before he said it. But he said that you know, he loves his G8s, and that the more he uses them, the more they start to make noise. And you can see here they're very, very screechy. Let's compare these. These are worn in too, but these are Blackriver Street Dogs. So yeah, they're not as squeaky, but these were less squeaky than these when I first got them. And like I said, the more I ride them, the more they wear in, and the more the material starts to like, it feels better and better all the time. So as you can see, they're very squeaky, but they're very smooth. So like I said, even they don't really free spin. I don't think that really means anything, honestly, because these are my smoothest wheels that I own. They're just so buttery feeling. They really kind of elicit the feeling of the first bearing wheels. So when I first got into fingerboarding, like when I was a kid, I remember like Winkler wheels were super popular, and these really remind me of like the OG Winkler wheels. I never had a set, my friend did, and I remember when I would pick up his fingerboard and like kind of ride it around or whatever, like this has the same smoothness that those wheels had, just unmatched to anything. Even the Blackriver wheels, which are pretty similar, and they look similar at least, but they're smooth, but for some reason these just have more of a glidey feeling when you put them down. They just kind of glide across the, like you can feel these rolling, but these just glide. It's really interesting. And then compared to a urethane wheel, the urethanes are super smooth. You know, they roll really well. I would say compared to the urethane wheel, the Flatfaces definitely feel a little bit smoother, whereas the urethane wheels, you can feel more of the surface underneath you, so they're picking up all the impressions and bumps, and even the little tiniest bumps, the little imperfections on this table, you can feel them all when you roll through those wheels. Whereas this one, sure you can feel things I guess, but you get more of a glidey feel. It's just much more glidey and slidey and just buttery, I don't know. Compared to a caramel wheel, I have some caramel wheels here. These are brand new, not really worn in. They're actually kind of similar feeling, even though these are very different wheels. These caramel wheels are like wide cruiser wheels almost, and whereas the Flatfaces are street shape. But definitely, I think that says something though, because even though these do have really great bearings, the wideness makes the ride quality be so smooth. And even though these don't have the same surface area when it comes to the bottom, they're still equally as smooth, if not smoother. So I think that has a lot to say about just how good these wheels are. And lastly, we have some Flatface Jayline hand wheels here. These are the squeakiest Flatface wheels around. These wheels, they claim to be plastic, but they feel and look just like urethane. Anyway, squeak test. This is the squeakiest of the squeakiest, as squeaky as they come. And the G8s aren't far off really from that, which is kind of interesting. So when you first get them, they might be a little bit plasticky feeling, they might be a little bit slidey, they're gonna be glossy. But the more you ride them, man, like the better they feel. And like I said, I cannot imagine riding a different type of wheel on this setup. It is just so dialed in and feels so perfect. Because I've tried other wheels on here. I've tried the Flatface BRR wheels. I've tried Abstracts. I've tried Ill Pills. But these G8s just feel the best. And I do prefer a urethane wheel. But out of all the wheels I have, I think it's safe to say the G8s are definitely like my favorite. The ride quality is obviously number one. That helps when you're doing tricks too, because just the tricks feel, you can feel the trick a little bit more. Everything feels a little bit smoother. The reason they're my favorite wheel is because not only the ride quality is so good, because they seem like really well manufactured. You have no give here. Everything's nice and flush and tight to the trucks. No bearing slip, knock on wood so far. And they just function really well. Like I said, tricks just feel good with this board. So yeah, that's what it is for the G8 wheels. They get my total seal of approval. These are my favorite wheels. So if you can afford them, or if you want them, if you're thinking about getting them, you definitely should, because you won't regret it. These are awesome wheels. They're super smooth. And yeah, so that's all I got for today. I'll see you on the next video. If you want some concrete, be sure to hit my line. And thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Peace. Definitely out of all the wheels I have, this is one of the more interesting materials. Hey everybody, I'm Anxiety Offline, back again today for a review video. So today we'll be talking about one of my favorite products. They're a little bit expensive, a little bit hard to get, kind of elusive, but they are very smooth, very high quality. The shape we'll be talking about today is one of my all-time favorites. Today the topic is lab wheels. Hey everyone, real quick, don't forget, I have my own website, anxietyoffline.com, where I sell an array of concrete obstacles and fingerboard supplies. I also have a tips and tricks section as well as a blog, so definitely check that out if you want some extra content over at anxietyoffline.com. So when I first got into fingerboarding, a lot of my friends had lab wheels and they spoke very, very highly of them. I honestly avoided them for a while as a beginner fingerboarder just because of the high price point and the gamble with shipping. They come from so far away. I've heard lots of stories of packages getting lost or returned, but in the end, Lab is really good at getting their products delivered. I've never really heard a story of people not getting their stuff. So luckily I had some friends that had Lab wheels and I got to actually try a couple different sets in real life, and that helped me decide which shape I liked best. The Legacy R seems to be my favorite shape, just based on the small contact surface and the large wheel shape, but not quite a bowl shape. I feel like it really gives the board a lot of pop. So I got these wheels in rare white, as Lab calls them, and I gotta say I really, really like this color. When I first got them, they were a little more true white, but over time they kind of developed a little more of a tan color. Personally, I think they're pretty reminiscent of a real skateboard wheel in the way that they weather. The bottoms do pick up a little bit of dirt, but you can easily clean it off with some tape. Personally, I like the way they look when they get a little bit dirty. They look pretty cool and realistic. So the material they are made from is very, very interesting. Definitely out of all the wheels I have, this is one of the more interesting materials. It's not exactly soft, but it's also not exactly hard. It's kind of hard to describe. Really, in my opinion, it seems to be the perfect middle ground. I think they are some type of urethane. It's definitely a harder urethane. They do have a nice squeak and a nice grip on pretty much every surface. I think material-wise, they are most easily compared to my Abstract Street Slim wheels in tan. They do feel really similar, but I will say upon closer inspection, the Abstracts do feel maybe like 5 or 10% softer. Now, these wheels are super smooth. They seem to really magically glide across any surface. And I don't put a lot of stock into the spin test, but these wheels do free spin like crazy. The density from the urethane and the shape of the wheel makes them feel very bouncy and very poppy. They also seem to handle large drops and abuse pretty well, but I opt to use them more indoors and on parks just because of their rarity and price point. Now I will say the only real downside of these wheels is that they're kind of hard to get. You really gotta get on those drops or you gotta buy them from somebody else who already had a set. Personally, I really do like buying wheels from US based retailers just because that's where I'm based. And usually if anything goes wrong, you can reach out to the maker and they will send you a discounted set or a single wheel at price. That's the only downside of buying something from Russia. It's just so far away if anything goes wrong. But at the same time, these wheels are so high quality, I haven't had anything go wrong yet. And I've been riding them and treading them for quite a long time. So if you like the shape of these wheels and how they look, and you're also into kind of a harder urethane wheel, then you definitely gotta try these out. This is probably gonna be the perfect wheel set for you. Now, including shipping, they come to about 55 bucks per set, which is a little bit pricey, but in my opinion, well worth it considering the high degree of quality and the resale value. If you ever need to get rid of them, they're very, very highly sought after and usually very easy to resell. This brand makes a lot of shapes and a lot of colors. In my opinion, I think every fingerboarder out there should try at least one set. Their website is over at labwheels.shop. You can check them out there. Alright, so that really brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, you should drop the word Dexter in the comment. You know, Dexter's Lab, I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny. Either way, check out my website over at anxietyoffline.com. I sell an array of fingerboard obstacles and supplies. I'm restocking on bushings very, very soon, as well as some other concrete obstacles as well. I have one more of my brick steel coping obstacles left. They're very, very fun. Some of my favorites that I've made so far. So definitely check that out, anxietyoffline.com. Please, please, please leave a like on this video, leave a comment. That really helps this channel more than you would ever know. Gets this video out there to more eyes and more people, and helps the community grow and just kind of get bigger. I appreciate all your support. Be kind to each other and yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace. Yo, what's up, y'all? Tonight is an impromptu review of the Flatface Jayline hand wheels. I feel like they're very underrated. So the ones I have specifically are the Blackriver shape editions. They also used to make the Flatface G4 shape, but in the same material, and they were appropriately called the J4s. These ones are different. These ones are the Flatface BRR shape or whatever, but they're made from the Jayline hand material. So when it comes to like all the wheels I have, like I would definitely put the G8s like number 1 and probably these in like a close number 2. The only downside about these wheels is because they're so soft, the bearing lock isn't as strong as other wheels. So like 2 of them, or now 3 of them now, have a little bit of a give when I go to pull them off, from the axle, just a little tiny bit. So it seems like the bearing lock may be in the beginning stages of failing, I'm not quite sure. But either way, they still function really good in the time being. And I have them on this setup here that is kind of like a realistic setup, I guess. It's got the RealWear graphic. I got 32mm trucks, homemade bushings, and the J4 wheels, which I like these wheels because the color they have really kind of makes them look like a real skateboard wheel. They don't look like bright white, brand new all the time. They kind of have like a yellowish off-white look to them. And over time, they'll get darker. When I got them, they were a little bit lighter. I keep my wheels pretty clean though, so they could be darker, but if you were to always be riding them outside or always be riding them on like, dirty parks or rough surfaces, they definitely pick up dirt pretty quick, faster than a lot of my other wheels, and they weather quite nicely. And the screech is just insane with these wheels. So they're supposedly plastic, but they function just like urethane. Like it reminds me a lot of that old butter commercial. I can't believe it's not butter. But with these, like it's just, I can't believe it's not urethane. Because they literally feel and look and sound and behave just like urethane. Like there's really no difference between these and my ill-pill urethanes or my abstracts. They all feel like these wheels I kind of categorize all in the same category because they all really feel the same to me. So yeah, supposedly they're plastic, but they feel just like urethane. So if you want to try out like a flat face wheel but you really don't want plastic at all, this is a really good option to get because it's a really solid wheel and it's definitely very different from everything else in the Flatface catalog. One other downside I kind of noticed with these wheels is because they're so soft, it kind of seems like they maybe take away a little bit of the pop that I install them on, on whatever setup I have them on. I don't know if that's true, maybe it's just me, but I felt like I had them on a setup before this one, I can't even remember what it was now, and I kind of felt like when I changed the wheels from these to the new wheels, whatever it is, maybe it's the Chems deck, I don't know, I felt like it had more pop. And with this one too, I felt like maybe it had more pop before I put these wheels on here. I don't know, maybe that's not a correlation that really goes together. I have no idea, it's just kind of something small that I noticed. But they still function very well. Like I said before, they're one of my favorite wheels. I'm really glad I have them. I have a couple other sets of wheels just sitting in my wheel box, just chilling. So I think the fact that I actually have these out on a setup and I'm using them daily just kind of says, how awesome they are, how much I like them. As far as the spin goes, that one spins a lot. They spin pretty good. I mean, I don't really put a lot of stock in that whole bearing spin thing. I think it's kind of bullshit. And these wheels spin amazing when you put them on the ground. That's really all that matters to me. And there's no clicking or anything like that. Some bearing wheels have a click after a while. I've had these for at least since December, and they still feel pretty much like they did out of the box. The only thing difference is now is the bearing locks are starting to kind of give way a tiny little bit on the wheels, One thing you can kind of do to combat that is rotate the wheels. So though I notice the ones in the back definitely take more abuse than the ones in the front. So you can switch those out every couple months or every couple weeks or so to kind of combat the bearing lock slipping. But I've had them for a long time, a couple months, at least since December. And I mean, really, they like, you know, they still function like they did. So even though the bearings are starting to slip a tiny bit, it doesn't really seem to affect the function very well or very much yet. And I'm a perfectionist when it comes to like stuff on my setup starting to fail. I take that shit like pretty seriously, like OCD wise, and I want to get that swapped out like immediately. So the fact that it's not bothering me probably won't bother you. I don't know. I noticed they are sold out right now, unfortunately, so if you want to get them, it's probably going to be secondhand or something. But if you can get them brand new, definitely do that. They're definitely worth it brand new. I like them a lot. They're very different than a lot of other flat face wheels. Very unique, but they function just as good. So yeah, I guess that's really about it. I don't want this video to get too long, but a lot of people ask about these wheels when I post them in little short videos and stuff, so I want to make a video kind of talking about them a little bit. Because I like them so much, and they're, you know, part of my everyday setup crew. Be sure to subscribe, like this video, check out the website too, anxietyoffline.com. I just stocked a bunch of new graffiti supplies. There's obstacles up there. I got some wheels for sale too. I got some abstract wheels. They're awesome urethane wheels, 64D. I like mine a lot. I'm tempted to open up one of the packs I have if no one buys them, because I really want the green wheels. They look insanely dope, so someone should buy those so I don't have to open them. Thanks so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace. And on that note, this is actually the deck that I learned a nollie heel on. Between the shape and the added pop, nollie heels for me are pretty easy on this deck. Hey everyone, Anxiety Offline back again today for a quick video. Today I want to talk about a deck that I tried and immediately liked. Since I got one, it's been one of my most used fingerboards. I read an interview once with Timo Lieben. He's the owner of Blackriver / Berlinwood, and he also said this deck is one of his favorites. After trying it out for so long, I can definitely see why. Today, we're going to review the Blackriver 7-ply. Don't forget to check out my website, www.anxietyoffline.com. I have an array of fingerboard obstacles and supplies. I'm taking a little bit of a break on obstacles this month and next month. You can still get bushings. We're doing decks very, very soon and grip tape packs as well. So stay tuned for that. Check it out, anxietyoffline.com. Without further ado, let's get back into the video. So what I have here is a 33.3mm deck. These run about $54. This one has 32mm Blackriver trucks, abstract new street wheels in tan, lightwork bushings, and FBS tape. I have another board here sitting here that has the same trucks and the same wheels, but it's a 34mm fingerboard. And the 7-ply fingerboard weighs about 1.5 grams more than that one. So on average, they're about a gram or a gram and a half heavier than a 5-ply fingerboard with the same trucks and wheels. It does feel like it sits a little bit higher than other decks. I think it's because of that extra ply, but because it sits higher, I feel like I can get higher tricks on it too. I can ollie and kickflip super high on this deck. The Blackriver concave makes it super, super cozy, and the shape's definitely a little more exaggerated because it has that extra ply, which I like. So it even feels a little more deeper and a little more higher than your average Blackriver Berlinwood, 5-ply fingerboard. I really do like the shape. I like the exaggeratedness of that extra ply and what it gives to the deck. And after using this one so much, I definitely prefer the 7-ply over the 5-ply, especially when it comes to Blackriver decks. I feel like the 5-ply one is just too light for me now. I've always liked heavier fingerboards, so I'm not really surprised by that. I still have plenty of 5-plies that I do ride and I like very much, but I do like the added weight of this one a lot. I do wish the rounding was a little better. It seems like the deck's a little bit square on the edges, but then again, compared to my other Blackriver deck, it's pretty much the exact same. I think the edges make a little bit squares, mostly just because of that extra ply. My other one is very, very similar. It's not like overly thick. It doesn't really like look too much different than a 5-ply fingerboard, but it's definitely like very substantial feeling, and you can feel a slight difference compared to a 5-ply. I feel like that added weight just makes it feel a lot less like a toy and gives it a more quality feel. I wanted to interject and add this one part. I highly recommend you don't get it complete and you build your own. The reason being, I think you really want 32mm trucks on this setup. I think part of the reason it functions so well is because of that slight overhang between the deck and the wheels. The deck is 33.3mm and the trucks are 32mm, so it has a slight overhang. And I feel like that really adds a lot of function to this deck. I have a whole video on why I think that slight overhang really kind of helps boards just function better. It definitely helps them flip easier, among many other things. Yeah, if you do pick one up, definitely build your own. Add 32s on there. 34s I think would be too heavy, in my opinion. I think that would add a little bit too much weight. I know I do talk a lot about how I like the weight of this fingerboard, but I think if it were any more heavy, or if it were like any less aerodynamic, it wouldn't function as well. So I feel like those 34mm trucks would really take away from the function of this deck, make it feel kind of overly cumbersome, too heavy, and I really don't think it would function as well. And again, that's all based on preference. It's all an opinion. I've learned, like, through my 2 years of fingerboarding that I don't really like when my trucks poke out. I'd rather have the deck overhang than the trucks. I feel like the setup will just function better that way in general. If you disagree, let me know below in the comments. But I really feel like 32mm trucks on the 7-ply really, really do help just kind of give it a lot of character and help it to function better. So definitely go for some 32s, and yeah, I just want to interject and say that. So the added weight and the exaggerated shape is kind of a perfect storm for me. I use this board in all kinds of scenarios and it always shines. It flips with ease, and the added pop given with that extra ply just makes getting it into the air super, super easy. The concave is super comfy and it feels like it's hugging your fingers sometimes. This is a deck too that I can use in like very awkward angles, or put it on the ground and kind of be crouching and still get my trick, because it seems like a very easy board to work with. It's very capable. And on that note, this is actually the deck that I learned a nollie heel on. Between the shape and the added pop, nollie heels for me are pretty easy on this deck. It's great on street or vert. I've even used it outside and took all like the bails and drops like a champ. I always am really impressed how Blackriver products hold up. Sure, they are expensive, but I've had some on the wall back there for 10, 15, 20 years, I think, even at this point, and they still function great. So in the end, the price is a little bit high, $54 for the single deck, but I feel like it's worth it considering the quality really is some of the highest in the fingerboard world. You get this one deck with the Blackriver trucks and some wheels, and it would probably last you for years. Like, you probably need to replace the wheels and bushings at one point, and the tape, but the trucks and deck would literally last you for years, if not decades. I don't really know. Probably a long time though. It's probably one of the last fingerboards you'd ever need. Like, if I had to only pick one, this is definitely one that I would consider. Expensive, but quality. I really, really enjoy this deck. Nothing but good things to say about it, really. I use this one a lot, put it in my pocket a lot, take it with me everywhere. It's just a very satisfying fingerboard. I really do enjoy it quite a bit. So if you're considering getting a Blackriver 7-ply, you definitely should try one out. If you like heavier fingerboards, I definitely recommend one. They're a little bit heavier, but nothing crazy. And I feel like that added weight and the added pop and exaggerated shape just makes this thing just so fun to use. I love this deck so much. Alright, so that is really about it. I got a bunch more content coming soon. Gonna do a TP Dex review probably next week. 180 tutorial coming very soon. How to reinforce your concrete. If you got any suggestions, also leave them below in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys want to see on this channel. And don't forget to check out anxiettyoffline.com, where I sell an array of fingerboard obstacles and supplies. I also have a blog there and several YouTube playlists as well, so you can watch my videos on the website and all that stuff too. So, and one more request for today. Check out my other videos. I have tons of videos in my back catalog that people will come across and they will see that only have a couple hundred views, and they'll be like, wow, I love this video. I've never seen this one before. I didn't know you had this one up. So check out my old catalog. Check out my older videos. I have a bunch of content. If you're curious to know how to film fingerboarding, to know how to pour concrete obstacles, even know how to make your own obstacle molds. I have a whole bunch of backlogged content for you to go check out and to go watch. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, all of that. This channel is pretty close to being monetized, so any bit of support you can leave on this channel, on this video even, is a huge, huge help for me. So really appreciate any support you can give this channel. The free support means a ton. By commenting, by liking, subscribing, that helps me out a great, great bit. That's what I got for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. A bunch more content coming soon, so stay tuned. If you're not, hit the subscribe button like right now. It's right there. It's totally free to hit that button too, so definitely do that. If you made it this far in the video, comment the word cactus below so you watch the whole thing, and I will see you in the next one. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay shredding. I'll see you again soon. Peace.
Man, I am so stoked to finally get these.
Oh, hey, what's going on? I got some new fingerboarding wheels in the mail. Let's check them out. All right, so these are super dope and super unique. They're one of a kind, one of one as far as I know. Probably others made in the future, but they're made to order. These are wheels by Sadood FB. I'll put a link down below. And these are pretty unique because they're made from actual skateboard wheels. These are made from Spitfire Formula 4 99 Duro wheels, and these are 6.6 millimeters. So I got the smallest possible wheels he makes because I like small, like kind of street shape, street style wheels. Alright, so I finished putting them on. My first impressions are they're super soft. They actually almost kind of feel like the Tech Deck Performance wheels, but like, you know, with bearings. Definitely like higher quality than those, but they kind of have like the same like softness or similar softness. But at first I was kind of concerned. I'm like, shoot, I hope I can like do any tricks with these. But then you saw me messing around with it, and it's actually like, it's definitely like, I can feel the difference, and it's super responsive. So what I'm going to do is give it a few days, test them out, and really like, you know, shred and everything. I'll get back to you with what I really think about them and my final result and final verdict, you know, final review of these wheels. So far I like them. They're interesting. They're definitely very different, but I like them. So we'll see how I feel in a couple days.
Several days later.
So my final review of these wheels, these Sadood Spitfire wheels, is that they're very cool. They're very unique. I've never tried another wheel like them. They're super soft, super grippy. They're softer than any other fingerboard wheel I've tried, which is why I'm not sure I would use them for like every single day use, just because they're so drastically different. But they are very cool, and I definitely think they have their applications. As far as like functionality goes, they spin well, they squeak on surfaces, they have nice grip. I really have no complaints about them. I thought these wheels would be like the perfect outdoor wheel, but the only thing is they're way too grippy for outdoor. I tried using them outdoor, and it was like being locked into tracks. It was just like, there was no movement. So I realized then that even like, that's why I like these Ilpil resin wheels outside, because they have a little bit of slip to them. So these wheels aren't the be-all, end-all outdoor wheel like I thought they were. If you don't like grippy wheels, then these wheels definitely aren't for you. You definitely want to stick with more of a harder urethane. They're fun to try out though, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really was curious about them. I want to see what they're all about, and I'm glad I have them. Definitely going to keep them around in the arsenal. I might switch them off this board for now and go back to the Ilpils. Overall, good experience. I like the wheels, and I recommend them. Because the price is so high, I'll definitely say, like, don't go out of your way to get these wheels. There's other wheels out there that mimic real skateboard wheels that are probably more applicable for everyday use. My bad, my camera died. One thing I wanted to note too is they're super soft. Like when you're riding on them, it almost kind of feels like you're riding on like beads of like hot glue. That's kind of what it's comparable to, or what it kind of feels comparable to. And also, in the beginning of the video, I mentioned they kind of feel like the Tech Deck Performance Series wheels, but with bearings in them. And I still stand by that. They definitely do. I think when Tech Deck did their original R&D to make those new wheels for the Performance Series, they definitely did something like this, where they took some real skateboard wheels and made them into fingerboarding wheels with the same material. Because they feel similar, but obviously the Sadoods are like way smoother because they have bearings inside and the bearings are locked in there. So I wanted to note that. That's kind of what they feel like. That's pretty much the bottom line. I don't know if I'd really use them every single day, but they're super fun, super interesting, a little on the high side of price point, but if you can afford them and you want some very interesting kind of novelty wheels, these are definitely the ones to get. They kind of bring the feel of real skateboarding into fingerboarding. They're fun, so they get my approval. And big shout out to Sadood FB for making them so quickly. I gotta say, even though the price point is kind of high, he ships them out very fast. I commissioned them on like a Monday, Tuesday, whatever, and he had them shipped out in like 2-3 days at the very max, and I think they're on my doorstep like 5 days later. So that was pretty cool. Shout out to him for that. Very fast shipping, very good service, and all that good stuff. So yeah, definitely gets my approval, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Anxiety Offline, back again today for a quick video. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm pretty stoked. The weather in my part of the country is starting to turn around, starting to get a lot warmer out. So I'm able to be outside more and just kind of do more fun stuff. I haven't been cooped up 24/7, so that's been pretty cool. And so today I want to talk about a deck that is really, really cool, very unique. Out of everything in my collection, this one we're going to talk about today is definitely by far the craziest, most unique, coolest one I have, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm actually not even sure if it's out yet. I know when I got it, it was like an unreleased hand-shaped one, and it's hand-shaped by one of the, what I consider one of the best deck makers in the whole fingerboard industry. So it's just a really, really awesome deck. It functions like crazy. As cool as it looks, it works just as well. So today let's talk about 26mm balcony that I got here. Hopefully the lighting's good and you can see it. I don't know, the intro sounds pretty good, so we're gonna use it anyway. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right. All right, so this is gonna be kind of just a quicker, more impromptu video. I wanna just talk about this deck, tell you how it functions, what I think about it, and all that good stuff. And real quick, I just wanted to break and let y'all know the exact recipe of this deck, which is a 26mm microwave shape on the lounge concave. So that is the shape and concave of this one. So back to the video. So I got this one when I did the designs for Balcony for their hoodie and all that, and they came out really, really cool, and he sent me one. And if you remember in that video, he also sent me this deck. And I remember getting it out and I was like, oh sweet, this is really cool. But I didn't have any 26mm truck, so it took me a little while to get it set up and to get it going and all that. But I'm so glad I did. This thing is crazy. It functions really, really well. I've been wanting a cruiser deck for a long time. Don't know why I never got one. Never had my eye on like a skinny cruiser. Like this is a 26. It almost feels like a popsicle stick. When I thought about getting a cruiser, I thought about getting like a 35 or something like that. But anyway, this thing is sweet. It is a cruiser. It's got the rounded nose and the square tail, but it's also got kicks to it. So a lot of cruisers have a kick, like a kick in the back and then no kick in the front. This has a nose and a tail with some kicks, and now that I'm looking at it, the nose is actually a little bit steeper than the tail, and it's definitely longer as well. And I like on a lot of balcony decks how their noses are bigger than the tails. It's kind of, for me, reminiscent of like an older Berlinwood. I know their like a Berlinwood deck, for instance, has a much larger nose than it does tail. So I kind of like that in a fingerboard. I feel like you have more control, like when you go to flick and just things like that, or even when you go to catch, really. But I feel like the more of a nose you have, just the more, for me at least, more possibilities I have, or more flexibility I have when I go to do my tricks. And The really unique thing about this deck, I think the most unique thing about this deck, is that the nose has a nice amount of kick to it. So even though it's an old school cruiser shape, because it's got those nice kicks, nice medium kicks, you can still do so much on it, and it just comes to you pretty easy, I think. More easy than it would if it was just a regular classic cruiser with really, you know, no nose. It seems to flip just so effortlessly, and you can catch it just as easy. So one awkward thing about this deck, I will say, is when you go to ride it, when you first go to ride it, or even now when I use it, even though I've been using it pretty much daily, it does feel very long, and I think that's just because of the 26 mil width. It feels very popsicle sticky in a way. Not saying it feels bad, you can get used to that. After a couple ollies, a couple kick flips, whatever, start to kind of get used to it. But it does feel very long compared to my other fingerboards, even though it's not. So it's the same size as this 33 here, you know, height-wise, but it feels longer, I think, because it's just skinny deck. Now, there is one advantage to that, I will say, and that is the wheelbase. The wheelbase in this thing is crazy long. I was even looking at it earlier, and this deck, which is my favorite deck, has been for the past couple of weeks, I can do so much on this thing just first try. It just feels so good. And I was looking at it, and the wheelbase is actually, I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell on camera, but the wheelbase is slightly longer on the old school deck here. And what that means, at least for me and my style, I prefer a longer wheelbase. I feel like I can pop the deck just way higher, and I have much more controllability over my flips. If I have a short wheelbase, a deck is very hard for me to use. It's not matter how much concave or kick it has. If it has a short wheelbase, I'm gonna be a little bit SOL on that one. Even though this deck feels long, even though it's not, the wheelbase is nice and long, which really adds to the functionality of this deck. So in my opinion, it really is kind of a perfect storm when it comes to wheelbase, kick height, and concave. Now I will say there's not much concave on this deck, but I don't think it really matters. Just because the wheelbase is so long and those kicks are just like so perfect for, you know, in my opinion, for my preference at least, this deck is just super functional. I love it so much. A big shout out to Dan for sending this one over to me. I really appreciate it. It's such a high quality fingerboard. Every deck I've got from Balcony is just so, just for lack of a better word, just quality. They all feel like they're made, you know, obviously by one person, by hand, but they feel like there's something that you would get like just from a factory. And what I mean is they're all so perfect. They all just feel like just so consistent feeling. I don't like when you try two fingerboards and they feel, you know, they feel different. The consistency is just crazy among these decks. They all feel, you can tell a Balcony when you pick it up, and I think that definitely says a lot. Now, I will say if I had to pick only one fingerboard to use, I'm not sure if I'd pick this one just based on the shape. I'm kind of a classic popsicle, medium kick, medium concave kind of guy, so I think if I had to pick just one, I probably would go for something more classic like this. But this thing is just so fun to mess around with. And it's kind of funny because right now my favorite two to use are this 35 mil chems and this 26 mil Balcony. So it's funny, the 10 millimeter difference, well, 9 millimeter difference, almost a 10 millimeter difference between the two. It's just kind of funny. But either way, it's a really fun setup. I've been taking it even outdoors and using it in really weird spots just because it's great. It's kind of like a little finger surfboard. But it's super fun. So when you can, definitely get your hands on one. I definitely recommend them. Balcony's doing some awesome stuff, so definitely check them out. Whether you want a popsicle or a cruiser, or even the boxy decks are awesome. They have a lot of really fun shapes and, you know, concaves and all that stuff. So real quick, here is a couple clips with this deck. Hope you enjoy. Alright y'all, that brings us to the end of yet another video. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. If you watched the whole thing, drop the word microwave in the comments below. Beyond that, leave a like and a comment. I don't care what you comment, just leave one. It helps out the channel a lot and gets this video out there to more fingerboarders. Don't forget, I have my own website, anxietyoffline.com, where I sell a whole array of fingerboard obstacles and supplies. I got grip tape packs, you're talking soon, so definitely gonna look out for those, and a bunch of other cool stuff as well. I release new fingerboard content every single week. If you got more videos just like this, hit the button down below and I'll see you in the video next week. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Yo, what's up y'all? So today we're talking about Abstract Wheels by Redemption FB. It's gonna be kind of a quick review. So these are fingerboarding wheels that are made in Michigan. They're made from urethane. Every set is bearing locked, and this particular set we're going over today is the mini wheels. So I've had these wheels for about maybe 6 months or so, and I've used them quite a lot. They definitely got some nice sessions in. I use them mainly on my grip skin setup, and then I switched them over to my chems about a month ago or so. They function well with dynamics or BRTs. You always have a nice snug fit, nothing loose going on there, everything's nice and tight. I like the color and material because when I ride outdoor spots or fingerboard parks, they start to weather and get kind of dirty, like a real skateboard wheel. I like how they do that, it looks pretty cool. These wheels have no chipping or dents or anything, even though I've been shredding them a lot. That's a good testament to the material. They're not overly brittle or overly soft. They have a smooth ride. They have a really smooth ride, so they're softer than plastic. They're not overly soft like a Sadood Spitfire wheel. Of course, they got screech. Plenty of that on all kinds of surfaces. Some marble over here. My only critique is that the mini wheels are a tad bit wide. I wish they kind of had a smaller surface area similar to the BRR Street Dogs. Overall, these are really great wheels from a great company that is time tested and fingerboarding approved. Now don't just take my word for it. Type in Abstract Wheel Review here on YouTube and you can see all the reviews people have made. I think these wheels complement pretty much any setup well, outdoors or indoors. They're definitely a wheel or a product you want to put on your products to try list because I think that these are pretty essential wheels to have in any fingerboarder's arsenal. So the exciting thing is, I'll be selling these wheels on my shop pretty soon. Look for the first set in stock actually later today. Look out for some really awesome translucent green ones, and I also grabbed some classic whites as well, so you'll be able to get them directly from me if you're interested. And like I said, these are awesome wheels. I'm not just saying that because of the review. Type it in over on YouTube or anywhere. Type in Abstract Wheel Review, and you can see all the positive things people are saying. I wouldn't stock something in my shop if I didn't have complete faith in it, and this is one of those items right here. So, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget, currently I'm doing free shipping on my website, so anxietyoffline.com, you can get anything shipped for free. So go over, take a look, and buy some concrete. I have concrete loaves coming soon, it's going to be pretty fun. So it's going to be a short video, and it is. Thanks so much for watching, see you in the next one. Peace. So these are the Pipsqueak F0 wheels in ivory. So these are a street shape wheel with a fairly wide contact surface. They are conical in shape and they are about 8 millimeters tall by 5 millimeters wide. They're made from a very interesting material, which is a very bouncy rubber feeling type of urethane. They're very, very unique. They almost feel like tires. I've tried a lot of different wheels in my fingerboarding career, and out of all of them, this is definitely some of the softer ones that I've tried. A while back, I had some Spitfire recycled wheels, and these wheels feel even a little bit softer than those, but I would classify them in the same category. They do feel a lot like a recycled wheel, but they are available for a much cheaper price point. If I could compare this material to anything, it would probably be like a harder pencil eraser or a bouncy ball. But they won't wear away like pencil eraser, they're pretty hardy material. And despite being so soft, they don't give you that like locked into tracks feeling that I would get with my recycled wheels sometimes. And by locked into tracks, what I mean is when your wheel is super soft, sometimes some surfaces can feel like you just can't revert at all, and you feel like you're locked into literal tracks, just moving forward and backward. But these don't give you that. Even though they're pretty soft, they still have a decent amount of play. I gotta say, they are very, very smooth feeling. Doesn't matter what surface you ride them on, they always feel very, very smooth. And I gotta say, these bearings are absolutely crazy. They spin forever and ever. I have some sets that one wheel or two wheels will have some crazy free spin, the other ones kind of don't, but literally all 6 of these wheels have this really amazing free spin. The wheels don't have much, if any, squeak, you know, like when you do reverts. If for some reason you need to make your fingerboarding more quiet, you should definitely look into these. The only real downside of these wheels that I found is that because they're so soft, if you put them through a lot of abuse, you could actually slide the wheel off the bearing. And that did happen to me once or twice maybe even, but because they're so soft, you can easily slip the wheel back on and kind of line it up. There's really no problem. And since that happened, I got them back on. There hasn't been any issues since. The really cool thing about this brand, Pipsqueak wheels, is that they give you 6 wheels per pack. So I actually got 2 extra ones right here, just in case anything goes wrong. I kind of take a note for him when I make my bushings. I include 6 bushings per pack as well. That way, if something goes wrong with your bushings, you can also just kind of grab one from your pack and throw it back in there and you're rolling again. Now, I don't have much to compare these wheels to, but the softest wheels in my collection are my Abstract 60Ds. But after messing around with these F-Zeros a little bit and kind of getting used to their bounciness and their softness, the 60Ds actually feel pretty hard now. So now let's compare the noises of some reverts and some kickflips with the F-Zeros versus some 60Ds. So here's the F-Zero. And then here is the Abstract 60Ds. F-Zeros. Some G50 or some G8s. So G8 kickflip, 60D kickflip, F-Zero kickflip. So that there is a small comparison of the noises they make and how they sound compared to some other wheels out there. I like these wheels a lot for their price point and their unique feeling. Overall, I would give them a solid 9 out of 10. If you want to grab a set for yourself, head over to pipsqueakfb.com. You can also grab them right now at abcparks.com. He has a big drop of them available in different colors. He just dropped some really cool decks too. They feel great, and he has a lot of awesome obstacles as well. So definitely check out his website at abcparks.com. So I know it was a short video today. I'm working on a lot of new content for y'all. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned to my website as well at zadioffline.com. I post new products pretty much every single day. Always updating the website, always adding new things, and I got new decks coming soon as well too. So that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Keep shredding, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. This is going to be a very quick review of dynamic fingerboarding wheels. So when you get them, they're going to come in a package like this, and they cost $35 per set. They are made from urethane, so they're a little bit softer than plastic wheels, but they're still kind of slippery. In my opinion, they have just the perfect amount of grip. And obviously they pair the best with dynamic trucks, so probably pick up a pair of those if you're going to grab the wheels. But I think they'll work with pretty much any truck, because they're a single bearing wheel. Real quick, we're going to compare the sounds of the dynamic wheels with Tech Deck wheels and Flatface Blackriver wheels. So comparing these two right here, the Flatface ones are wider, they're louder, and they're definitely more slippery. The dynamic ones are smaller, they're softer feeling, they're a little bit quieter, and they're definitely like maybe 5 or 10% more grippy. I gotta say too, the material the dynamic wheels are made from makes them look very realistic. They look exactly like real skateboard wheels, just scaled down. The only thing that I don't like is that these wheels do have a little bit of a give. You can see here they move a little bit, even though the bolts are completely, like this one's perfect, but the rest of them for some reason aren't. I don't know why, even though the bolts are on all the way. Whereas these ones fit perfectly on and there's no give at all. Then again, these do have a higher price point than these, but that's just one con or one kind of OCD thing that I don't like about these ones. So overall, at the $35 price point, which I think is great, they're awesome single bearing wheels. They have a nice, awesome, realistic shape and look, and they come in tons of colors, so you can really put them on any setup. I definitely recommend them. Thanks for watching. this deck will just have no problem working with whatever I want it to make it do. Yo, what's up everybody? Anxiety Offline back again today for a quick video. So now that I've been into fingerboarding for a couple years now, I really kind of got it locked down as to what I like and what I look for in a fingerboard. When I came across this one, it checked all the boxes and I was really excited to try it. It seems to have the perfect balance of weight, wheelbase, concave, and shape. The craftsmanship is overall amazing, and the person who makes them puts a lot of time and care into her creations, as well as being a very talented fingerboarder. It does seem that people who are overall good at fingerboarding do make the best decks. Today, we're talking about the TP Decks Plain Jane. Okay, so real quick, don't forget, I have my own website, anxietyoffline.com, where I have an array of obstacles and fingerboard supplies, such as grip tape and bushings. If you want to support this channel and get a really cool obstacle to fingerboard on, check out my site. I also offer custom graffiti for concrete obstacles. So if you want a custom obstacle with your name on it, definitely check me out and I will hook you up, anxietyoffline.com. And without further ado, let's get back to the video. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about TP Decks and then we'll talk a little bit more about the Plain Jane. So TP Decks has been around for a long time. They were officially established in about 2011. The owner, Leah, is very active on Instagram, and from what I can tell, she uses very high quality metal molds to create her fingerboards. That definitely shows through when you pick one up. They're very dense and very poppy. TP Decks does a lot of very cool split plies. They do a lot of really awesome geometrical pattern designs. One of my personal favorites is the Scream one they do. One thing a lot of their decks have in common are very brightly dyed plies. I don't know how she does it, but she gets the colors like very rich and very saturated. She also does some very cool zebra patterns, which I've never really seen any other brand do before. Overall, she's very talented and a very experienced deck maker. She's also very good at fingerboarding, and I feel like people who are good at fingerboarding always make the best decks. Just like Flatface or Berlinwood, fingerboard companies that are owned by fingerboarders, TP Decks definitely falls into that category. So they offer a variety of shapes and sizes, but I had my eye on the Plain Jane. I've been fingerboarding for about 2 years now, so I really kind of got it dialed down as to what I look for in a fingerboard. And one of those things is a medium kick, medium concave, which this deck advertises itself as. And now that I have it in hand and I've been skating it for a while, it feels vaguely similar to the Berlinwood regular mold. It has a similar concave, but it's more well-rounded and a little bit shorter. Another thing I look for in a fingerboard that's usually going to be make or break for me is a long wheelbase, which this deck also has. For me, wheelbase is always going to be the number one thing as to whether I can actually use a fingerboard or not. I feel like if wheelbase is too short, I just kind of can't do any tricks on it. It's hard to just kind of get the deck in the air, hard to pop it off the ground. On the other hand, if I have a long wheelbase, I feel like the deck has more pop, it's just more capable. And then it all comes down to preference, just kind of what I'm used to after all the decks I've tried and kind of what I like out of all the decks I've tried. So for me, I like long wheelbases and this deck has one. Overall, the quality of the deck is very nice. Really nice rounding, nice edges, no crooked base plates or anything like that. It's very poppy and very capable. I know I keep saying that, but those are two, but capable is like one word that really comes to mind with this deck. I can do a lot of tricks on it first try really without much thought at all. Weird angles are also no challenge either. I can easily be crouching down or kneeling or whatever, or even on the floor, and this deck will just have no problem working with whatever I want it to make it do. I can also do crazy backside flips on it and really high kick flips and very high ollies. And same for tray flips too. It seems to shine on vert or street. I have some decks that seem to work better for ledges than they do for quarter pipes or half pipes. This deck goes back and forth, no problem. I'll use it on vert, on street, and it just seems to always rock. So the plies overall have a thicker look to them, but overall the deck has kind of a thin profile. And even though it has a thin profile, it still has a nice weight, which I like a lot. I like heavier fingerboards, and this one seems to be on the, not the heavy end, but definitely not the light end either. This setup as is comes in at about 15 grams. So what we got here is a 34mm TP Deck Plain Jane with 32mm 3.0 Blackriver trucks, abstract new street wheels in off-white, and then I have Tropics Blue Gatorade bushings. So overall, I like this brand a lot. I want to try more of their products moving forward, and I actually have a custom Penny V2 already in the works. The quality and the feel of this deck is extremely high. I would recommend it to absolutely anybody. Especially if you are into medium kicks, medium concave, and you like your decks on the heavier end, this is one you definitely got to try out. If you don't have one of these in your arsenal, you're missing out. It's a very fun deck. I take this one personally everywhere. I'll throw it in my pocket, take it out on a walk, take it out to hang out with friends, take it out to the bar, take it wherever. Super satisfying to mess around with, and I would give it a solid 10 out of 10. I'm excited to see what else TP Decks comes out with, and just to see how the brand evolves. They've been around for a long time. They're definitely a staple in the community. So it's no surprise these decks function the way they do. Definitely check them out. Go grab one. Tell them who sent you. www.tpdecks.com.
Go from one to the next.
Concrete is so rough.
All right, y'all. I recorded this video like 3 different times. I'm trying out different lighting kind of video setups or whatever. And overall, this one hopefully looks pretty good. I guess I'll see once I actually get it in the editor. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by leaving a like, leaving a comment down below, and subscribing. I have a ton more content coming at you. Tutorials, reviews, and some how-tos. So definitely stay tuned. Any bit of support you can leave on this channel helps out a lot. Check out my website, www.anxietyoffline.com, if you want some really cool custom concrete fingerboard obstacles. They're super fun to sash, and it's even cooler when you have them with your name on it. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay shredding, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Yo, what's up, y'all? So, the other day in the mail, I got this Deli deck. So I get it to focus. So it's got 32mm dynamics and some no comply halos on here, and it's a heck of a setup. I like it a lot. It's like a little bit heavier than a normal fingerboard, and I kind of just want to talk about it and like do a little review. My bad, I don't know where I'm looking. I'm like a bad vlogger. Keep looking at the screen and not at the lens, like at you guys where I should be looking. So anyway, I like this deck a lot. I want to talk about it, and I was gonna make this video like at my desk back there, but I figured it'd be cooler if we like went somewhere else. It's like a beautiful day out, so we're gonna go over to the park. So let's grab a couple obstacles off the wall up there, pack them up in a bag, and walk over to the park. Let's go. All right, here's my bag, the one I take to most events. I thought about doing a video like about this bag because it's like, I don't know, it's really good for fingerboarding actually. It's got like a whole like hard case in here where you can put stuff where it stays protected. You can fit like 3 setups in these different pockets right here. And it's actually meant for fly fishing, so it's got like a big fish on the back, which is kind of funny. But either way, it's a really cool bag. I like it a lot. Back a little bit, Fifi. Alright, I found this cool metal table, so this will work. So these things are super, super fun. Deli Decks really offers a unique and durable fingerboard experience with these polycarbonate-based fingerboards. These decks are built to last. They're super, super strong. They're perfect for on the go because you can throw them right in your bag or pocket, really not worry about them. And they're pretty much waterproof considering the deck is polycarbonate. Obviously trucks and wheels aren't, but still, it's a pretty cool thing. So the new shape of Deli Decks features a mid-high concave and mid-high kicks, promising a better flick. While the kicks, for me, honestly feel a little bit on the lower end, the deck still offers really nice pop and control. The concave feels super comfortable and provides really nice grip when you're doing tricks. So compared to a tech deck though, which I think a lot of people would compare these to like right off the bat, these do have a little bit less concave. And they're also shorter in length. They're also a little bit heavier and thicker. Despite the differences, these things are really amazing in their own way. And like I said, these are heavier, so I did put them on the scale and weigh them. So this setup as it is with no comply wheels and dynamic special edition trucks weighs 0.7 ounces. Compared to this Berlinwood Complete right here, which weighs 0.6 ounces, and then a Flatface Complete over here with Jayline hand wheels, which weighs 0.5 ounces. So it's definitely the heaviest out of all three of those. The application and durability of the graphics on these decks is really nice, super high quality, and they wear really nicely as well. So one thing I want to point out too is you can actually pick the color of your deck. This one's like a teal, as well as the graphic. And they offer like 6 to 8 different colors I think right now, as well as an array of different graphics, so you can truly get like a unique deck. And that's pretty cool too in itself. And excitingly, Deli Decks recently introduced a collaboration with Chems FB. So this incorporated Chems graphics onto Deli polycarbonate decks. And this was super cool. I love Chems graphics, and these decks really are, like, they feel super cool, super unique. So to have those two kind of coming together is really awesome. I hope we see more of that in the future with Deli collaborating with other, like, you know, really awesome brands. Maybe even an Anxiety Offline collaboration in the far future. I don't know, that'd be awesome. But still, just to see other brands' graphics on these boards is really, really cool. This really shows their dedication to expanding their offerings and innovating within the fingerboarding community. And they also recently introduced 3 new colors, so I think they now have like 7 to choose from or something like that. So that's pretty cool too. You can actually choose the color of the, you know, the actual deck as well as the graphic. I just think that's super, super cool. And overall, Deli Decks provides a very solid fingerboarding experience with these polycarbonate decks. With their comfortable concave, nice pop, and high quality graphics, it'll be very interesting to see what this brand has in store for the future. So, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This is kind of a longer video. I want to do more kind of vlog style videos like this, so I took a little bit longer to kind of get out, so bear with me. But either way, thanks so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, please. Both of those help a lot in kind of pushing this out to new people. Don't forget to check out my website, anxietyoffline.com. I offer an array of fingerboard obstacles and other products as well. So, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. What's up, y'all? Quick video today. I got a package in from Launch Lab FB. Let's open it up together. So I grabbed a finger snowskate. Wanted to try the one they sell. It's got a kind of a different shape, different mold, and the owner of the company is always doing really awesome tricks with his, so I wanted to pick one up and try it out. Lately I love snow skating and finger snow skating. It's just super fun, super different. So, you know, I want to try all the different snow skates. And this looks like one of the best ones out there, honestly. So if you want to get one, support Launch Labs FB. This one's got like a super proprietary shape, just meaning it's like, it's different from other ones on the market, very unique, but very true to an actual snow skate. And off the bat, I gotta say, I love the shape of it. The shape almost reminds me of a like a Chems deck. It's a little bit shorter than my other snow skate. The kicks are they're steep like a snow skate should be, with the tail and nose isn't like ridiculously like curved or anything, which I like that. And yeah, it looks awesome. Alright, there we go. Looks perfect. No air bubbles, nice clean lines, and looks beautiful, honestly. Super stoked to go try this out. Ooh, trying to get snow skate clips is fucking hard, and it's like literally 20 degrees. My hands are freezing. Ooh, it is cold. It is cold, 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 cold outside. Got a couple clips, then I got too cold, had to come back in. But super fun. This is definitely my new favorite snow skate. Still getting used to which side is the nose and the tail. I'm pretty sure the tail is the, you know, the shorter one, and the nose is the mellower one. But then again, it could kind of be up to preference. But either way, I like the shape of this one a lot. I think the dips are perfect, and then kind of having this like kind of added concave kind of helps to make it, you know, flip easier and stuff like that. And then it's nice and thick, but still pretty lightweight. And and you can pick your colors too. Got a lot of cool colors. Super fast shipping time, awesome craftsmanship. You get some tape with it and a little nail file, so that's always a plus. And super fun to skate. That's about it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Yo, what's going on everybody? Anxiety Offline, back again today for a quick review video. And in this one, we're talking about the Yoskam Blue Bodega water barrier. Got this one recently and I really enjoy it. So I want to talk about it, and I got some notes over there on my desk. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so getting into it, this is a really cool piece. It's made by Blue Bodega. They're based out of New York, and they sell a lot of really cool graffiti-inspired products. So this isn't technically a fingerboard obstacle. This is more meant to just be kind of a canvas desk piece, you know, for graffiti artists to, you know, pass around to their friends, have everybody hit it up, and then, you know, go put it somewhere as decoration. But I thought it would be perfect as a fingerboard obstacle because it's the perfect scale for fingerboarding, number one. And yeah, so I've been rocking with it, and I gotta say, it's pretty fun. So I did a little bit of research as I wasn't sure exactly what it was made out of, but it's actually solid resin, and then it seems to be painted from there. So it's nicely detailed as well. There's some decals up here, as well as the one over here, the Blue Bodega Yoskam one more here. And then this tag up here is really cool. Scam did that for me, shout out to him. Looks awesome. And then it has this kind of indentation up here, and then the other side's kind of flat. When it comes to fingerboarding, I like using this side a little bit more, but this side's fun too. It's a little more challenging, but you can definitely do some tricks on there. Alright, so we'll start off with the cons first, and since this thing really isn't technically meant to be a fingerboard obstacle, I wasn't really too hard on it, but a couple things to mention. So like I mentioned earlier, that groove can make some tricks kind of slightly hard. You can get caught up in it sometimes. Trucks just really easily get caught up in there. Another one is this one on top. So my 32mm trucks fit perfectly in there. So if I'm doing like a blunt slide or something like that, I gotta watch out that I gotta stay on the lip and not get caught up in there at all, because sometimes my wheels, trucks will just fall straight in there sometimes. So one thing to keep in mind, it's a really technical, it's not really technical, but it's kind of a more technical obstacle. One other cosmetic thing is the paint does kind of slightly chip. I mean, you gotta remember though, I've been landing on it and grinding on it with these metal trucks and all that, so it's not meant to take that kind of beating, but it's also just one thing to keep in mind as well. It's holding up really well. Just wanted to mention that the paint does chip a little bit. And I gotta say, getting into the pros, this thing stands up surprisingly well. It's just shy of 2 inches wide total. And for being such a tall obstacle, it's kind of on the thinner side. Like, it stands up amazingly. You can do tricks on it all day, and it just doesn't really want to fall over, which is awesome. I do have some foam tape on here to kind of help that, but overall, a lot of that is just due to its actual weight, kind of heft. Also, like I mentioned before, the decals and the tag, very nice details on here. Even in the physical build itself, just all the details are just spot on. It looks exactly like a water barrier you would see on the streets of Manhattan. And being tall and having those grooves in there kind of makes it a more technical, challenging obstacle, but it's super fun to sesh. And very satisfying as well. And it has a nice weight, nice heft, and a lot of that's due to just being the solid resin construction, so it's pretty cool too. It definitely feels very substantial and worth the money. And it's also good to support a small business, like Blue Bodega, so that's awesome too. Alright, that brings us to the end. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, I sell my own obstacles at anxietyoffline.com, as well as bushings and other stuff, so check that out. Leave a like, leave a comment, and if you're not, please subscribe. That helps out this channel a lot. Have a good rest of your day or night, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Hey everyone, I'm Anxiety Offline, back in today for a quick video. In this one, we got kind of a deck review / overview of Razer decks. So these are made by my homie Brandon. He's a very talented fingerboarder and craftsman. I'm really excited to talk about these decks today. We're gonna go over 3 of them, so get a drink, get comfortable, and let's get rolling. So I have 3 different decks here, and I have a low popsicle 34mm, I have a high popsicle 32mm, and I also have an old school 29mm. So some of the things these decks have in common is going to be their, number 1, their amazing craftsmanship. These things are flawless from tail to nose. They all look very, very cool. I have 3 different variants here. I have a painted graphic, a paper graphic, and a just plain, or this is a split ply, but just kind of a plain wood bottom with a clear coat, and all of them look so amazing. This is the finish I really strive for when making my own decks. And one more thing they have in common is going to be a shorter wheelbase, and I did measure it, and on the higher deck it's about 50mm, and on the shorter deck it's about 48mm. So the first one I want to talk about in depth is going to be the low popsicle 34 that I have here. It has a very realistic looking shape and concave. It's super mellow and definitely kind of flat. There's really not much concave at all, but it's still very poppy and definitely very snappy as well. It has a really cool split ply with a beautiful finish. And the split ply is very, very smooth. You honestly cannot even feel it. It's really crazy. It's like so smooth. It feels like it's all just one solid ply. So I gotta say, this deck right here is fun, but very, very challenging, at least for me. Between the short wheelbase and the low kicks, I'm not sure if it's quite the absolute end-all deck for me, but if you like a short wheelbase or if you like a mellow concave, it's definitely one you should check out. The next one I want to talk about is the high popsicle 32. This one has a very cool Charlie Brown graphic on there, which I like a lot. This one has a more exaggerated shape. It has kind of a medium concave, I would say. Definitely more aggressive dips. The concave is just deep enough but it doesn't get in the way. And I like that the dips kind of give the concave kind of a very defined feeling. And it also has a tapered tail. Now this one for me is very snappy and very responsive. I like the slightly longer wheelbase a lot. It's definitely very addicting to play around with. For me, this is kind of the perfect shape and concave. So I want to get a nice RealWear one and set it up on dynamics and kind of get it rolling really nice. I like the shape and concave definitely quite a bit. This one is definitely super fun. Highly recommend it if you like more of a medium shape, medium concave, kind of medium overall deck. All right, the last one we're gonna talk about today is going to be the old school 29mm. Back to the low shape, but even though it's a low old school shape, it has a raised nose. I've seen a lot of old schools with just flat noses, and this is an old school, but it's got a raised nose, which I think is pretty cool. Now this one, just like the 34 popsicle, is low, so it's definitely kind of, it's definitely very flat, definitely very mellow, but at the same time, very poppy and very snappy. It's challenging, but super fun, and I like this shape a lot. This one I've shredded quite a bit, and I like the raised nose on the old school shape a lot, because you can get some really nice fakie and nollie tricks, and they look really cool because of the old school shape. It is a very cool, very unique deck, and I love the graphic on this one. It's a painted, stenciled graphic, but just it looks super cool with the clear coat on there too, kind of gives it some depth and just super aesthetic looking. I love the way this one looks. I would love to get one in the high mold in this old school shape. I think that would kind of be really cool to play around with. So Brandon is the homie. He is very good at fingerboarding too. Definitely give him a follow on Instagram at Razer Decks. He posts clips on his story pretty much all the time. He's always shredding, always doing really cool, unique tricks as well. And I can definitely kind of feel his style come across in these boards because they kind of really enable you to do some very low technical tricks, which I do see a lot in his stories. And like I said before, if you're into shorter wheelbase decks or more mellow decks, definitely check them out. But even if you're not, they have the high shape as well, which I personally really like. Having a lot of fun with it, so I recommend that one as well. And overall, the craftsmanship of this brand is just super on point. Nice packaging as well, tons of stickers, tons of extras. So if you want to really support the scene and get an awesome fingerboard from an actual fingerboarder, hit up Razer Decks at razordecks.bigcartel.com. High quality, quick shipping, lots of awesome graphics. And like I said before, Brandon is the homie. You can't go wrong supporting a fellow fingerboarder. And that being said, check out my website as well, anxiettyoffline.com. I offer a full array of concrete obstacles, tuning, grip tape, and now some of my own decks as well. Probably thanks to Brandon and a lot of the knowledge he shared with me. I really do appreciate that. So that brings us to the end of another video. I got a lot more in store, so hit that subscribe button. I noticed that like 95% of the people who watch the videos are not subscribed. So if you made it this far, hit that button down below. I make new content every single week. I got tons of it going back as well. So Check out some of the older videos, leave some likes, leave some comments. I appreciate all the support way, way more than you know. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Either way, keep shredding, stay up. Peace. Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Anxiety Offline, back again today for another video. First, I got this package in the mail from Zegheads, so let's open this one up. We did a little trade, t-shirt for t-shirt, and this is the one that I picked out from Zegheads. Let's check it out. It's on the Comfort colors, which is the same ones that I have my t-shirts done on. Very high quality, very comfy. Love how these fit. Check out that awesome Zegheads logo there. Thank you so much, Drew. Appreciate the trade. This thing's awesome. And if you want to get an Anxiety Offline shirt, like Drew from Zegheads did, head over to anxietyoffline.com. I got a bunch of them for sale. I think I got small, medium, and large left. I'm gonna order bigger sizes going forward soon, so keep an eye out for those as well. But if you want an AO t-shirt, definitely hit me up. All right, so in this video, we're gonna be talking about Stoned decks here. They make some really high quality fingerboards out of California. You can follow them on Instagram at Stoned Decks, and then their website is stonedecks.bigcartel.com. And I tried out one of these at one of the Sunday sessions recently, and it stuck out to me. It's a really cool deck because it's very, very mellow. It's wide like a fingerboard would be, but it's got the shape that a skateboard would kind of have. So kind of realistic looking, I think, and I'm really excited to try it out. So I'll go ahead and open her up here. A big shout out to Stoned Decks for sending this one over. This was actually for the Boards and Brews giveaway. It got here a little bit late, so he said to keep one for myself and put the rest aside for Boards and Brews 6, which I did. So for Boards and Brews 6, Stoned Decks is already on as a sponsor. Got a bunch of grip tape and really awesome decks from him. So if you want to win one just like this, or some other really cool decks by him, definitely come out to Boards and Brews 6 when that is announced. We just had Boards and Brews 5, so it'll be a while before we announce the 6th one. But oh wow, that's awesome. He's got the logo up top as well as on bottom. It's really, really cool. Comes with a sheet of some yellow back grip tape. Also came with stickers. I'll show them in a different shot. Some really, really nice stickers, I must say. But this deck is awesome. I love the ply color. It's got like natural plies going on, and it is very, very mellow. This is definitely gonna be a challenge. I think I'm gonna have to kind of carefully pick the tape I put on this. I want something kind of thin, but I can still feel the concave and shape. And obviously, it's gonna be a little bit of one of those decks where, for me at least, it's gonna be definitely a little bit of a chore in a good way, but you know, a fun chore, a fun challenge, if you will, to kind of get this thing to do some tricks. I did try it out at the Sunday Sesh. Super, super hooked on I love difficult fingerboards. This one was really fun to me. And then I watched Fatal Fingers, aka Fletch, just do some really crazy switch tricks on this thing. So I was like, okay, that thing's pretty cool. I want to get one. So I was telling Stoned about him, and he was like, hey, I'll press you one and send it your way with the giveaway stuff. So I was like, all right, bet. That sounds great to me. So here it is. I'm gonna get it set up, and I'm gonna test it out for a couple days, and then we'll kind of come back here to this format, talk about it, review it, what I think the strengths are, weaknesses, and all that, and we'll kind of go from there. So this is the Stoned Decks 32mm Indica Hybrid, and this is a 95mm length deck, and let's go ahead and get it set up. All right, I got it set up, and I gotta say my first impressions are really, really good. This thing feels amazing. It's definitely very mellow. It's still very usable, which is really awesome. So I set it up, and I haven't been able to put it back down. I've been messing with it constantly. It's super fun, very addicting. I love challenging fingerboards like this. Super, super mellow. It has a decent amount of concave. I would say like a low to medium concave. The kicks are definitely on the very, very low end. So I'm gonna keep messing around with it for a couple days, and I'll report back in, let y'all know what I think. But so far, so good. I like it a lot, so I'm gonna keep skating it, and we'll see what happens. Alright y'all, so I've been using this deck a lot for the past couple weeks. It's super, super fun, very hard to put down, very satisfying, and I want to talk about why. So I've used a couple mellow decks in the past. This one kind of feels a little bit reminiscent of the Worm deck that I used maybe about a year ago or so. I like that one a lot. I liked how mellow it was. It was really mellow, but it's also very capable. I feel the same way about this one. The only difference is I think this one's a lot more boxier than the Worm shape. The Worm shape was a little more eggy. This one's a little more boxy. In its own right, it's a really, really fun deck. It's super, super fun. And I gotta say, I think it really, really shines when it comes to like very low technical tricks and like curbs and things like that. You definitely call this one a curb killer. Now it's very snappy, I must say, and I think a lot of that is just due to the very, very nice craftsmanship of this deck. It's very, very, very well made. It's rounded, very nice, lacquered, very nice. Plies, you can see each one. It's just very, very high quality, very, very well made deck. But on top of that, I also noticed it has a pretty long wheelbase. Not a long wheelbase, but it's a wheelbase on par. It's a wheelbase on par with a lot of my favorite decks, such as Flatface, Balcony, and Berlinwood, which are some of my favorite decks just because I like how they feel. I don't know, I just like how snappy they are, I like how they ride. And the long wheelbase, I think, has a lot to do with that. I like decks with long wheelbases. And now, even though it's so mellow, it's got that nice long wheelbase, which means, for me at least, it's very, very poppy, very capable. So even though it's so mellow, you can still get some really cool tricks out of it. And I might not land every single trick on this deck. I might only land maybe 1 in 20 attempts or something like that. But at the same time, when you do land one, it just feels very, very satisfying, very locked in, very crispy, and it just makes you want to go back for more. This is definitely one that's been hard to put down. I've been keeping it in my rotation. I've even been putting it in my pocket, taking kind of like out in the world. It's definitely one that's fun to mess around with, kind of in like realistic spots or like, really gritty spots, things like that, or even just kind of low spots in general. I was kind of surprised that, like, even though I was like kind of like kneeling down at the table or crouched down, I was still able to do kickflips on this thing and all, do kickflips and stuff like that. I gotta say, tray flips for me are pretty hard in this deck. It's really gotta scoop it, really gotta like really scoop it and pop it and get it in the air, and they kind of look, for me, they kind of look a little bit awkward. I'm still kind of getting them to look right, but still, everything just super fun. I've been using it on vert, using it on street, and like I said before, I think it really shines. Really, I get the most fun out of it with really low spots like curbs and stuff. I actually made this kind of zigzag curb with this specific setup in mind, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Now, would I use this as my daily driver? I'm not quite sure. I'm not really a mellow deck kind of guy, so this took some getting used to for me. And I'm not sure if I could just kind of get rid of all my fingerboards and only use this one. I'm sure after a while, though, I probably would get very used to it. It's definitely a very fun novelty deck, I kind of think. I like having it in my rotation, kind of just in my collection, because it is really fun to kind of grab a more challenging fingerboard, especially one that you kind of find or consider fun and kind of gets along with your style. In this case, we've got the long wheelbase, so I can still kind of pick it up, even though it's mellow. It's got that long wheelbase, we can still do tricks with it, land flips to grinds and all that. It still feels very satisfying and very fun to mess with, even though it's also very challenging at the same time. And I must say, it's good to try challenging fingerboards because I was having kind of a hard time with this fingerboard. This is my brand new Berlinwood. And Berlinwood shape is nice and concave, but the kicks are on the medium-low side, I would say. Maybe some people will consider them high. I consider them kind of like a medium-low. But after using this deck a lot, the super mellow one, because these kicks are so low, I actually got more used to this deck. When I picked the Berlinwood up again, the kicks actually felt higher because this one's just so low. It's what I got used to after a half hour, an hour or so. So I picked up this one and it started to feel a lot better for me. I don't know what it was. I was almost to the point of selling it because I didn't really feel like I wanted it to. But now I can't put this one down either. It's also my daily collection, my daily driver setup. So that's one thing too. I feel like it's good to use challenging fingerboards, use challenging setups, break a tech deck out of the package and try that out. Try something different and new, and maybe it's cheap, maybe it's expensive, I don't know, maybe it's whatever, but just try new, different, challenging stuff because it will help your skills kind of evolve and just help you kind of get better as an all-around fingerboarder. So the Indica Hybrid from Stone Decks gets a really high rating for me. I give it 2 thumbs up. I would definitely recommend you try one. If you like mellow decks, this is definitely going to be one you're into. This is one of the more mellow decks I've really ever tried. But again, it's got that long wheelbase, so it's still, for me at least, for my style of fingerboarding, is still very fun, very usable, and just kind of very user-friendly in general. So if you're thinking about picking one up, definitely go grab one. He's got a website as well. It's called stonedecks.bigcartel.com. I'm not sure the next drop is. Just kind of follow him on Instagram, follow the website, kind of keep an eye on things. And I imagine he should have new stuff coming in the next couple of weeks or months or whatever. But either way, that's Stone Decks. It's a 10 out of 10 from me. Thank you so much for sending this one over. It was very fun to use. It is very fun to use. I'm going to keep it set up in the collection for a while, I'm pretty sure. And that is about it for this review. Alright, y'all, so the next couple of weeks we'll be taking a look at some more decks. There's this one from Madhouse here, which is really awesome. Madhouse is a collaboration brand between Pipsqueak and Squirrel Nut. This thing is really cool. This is like a 36, 37 millimeter egg shape. Got some trucks for it in the other room. I'm gonna put them on here, get this thing gripped up. So hopefully, we'll talk about this one next week or the next 2 weeks or so. I also got one from Curve Forge. And he didn't ask me to review this one, but I think I'm going to kind of set it up and just kind of talk about it anyway. Because this is a very, very unique deck he sent me here. It's very, very cool. It's got some nice deep concave. Not deep concave, but it's got some concave in there, which is really nice. And it's got kind of a pointed nose and a squared tail. It's like a street cruiser pool shape. So this thing looks super fun. I can't wait to get it going. So we're going to talk about this one and the Madhouse as well. This thing is crazy. I love egg shapes and I love kind of like really wide fingerboards. So the egg shape on this one is very, very, very exaggerated. It looks very, very fun. And I love that Madhouse logo. Very, very cool. So this one's also a RealWear graphic, which is super dope. Pipsqueak and Squirrel Nut are getting very, very legit with it. This graphic just looks so, so good. So I'm excited to talk about this one and review it. We'll be doing both of these in the next couple of videos, so stay tuned for both of these. And don't forget, I got my own website, anxietyoffline.com, where I sell a whole array of concrete obstacles, supplies. I even got t-shirts for sale right now. So if you want to rep the Anxiety Offline logo, be the coolest kid in your class or at work or whatever, definitely go cop one of those. They're super, super dope. Very, very comfy, high quality shirts. Got some more bushings coming soon. Got some more concrete coming soon as well. This month's a little bit busy. Got some vacations coming and things like that. So I'm going to keep the weekly videos coming. With the website, might slow down just a little bit. I'm going to take some time off there to kind of just enjoy the summer. Enjoy some time off, go fingerboard outside and go take a walk and things like that, and I encourage you to do the exact same. So until the next video, thanks so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Keep shredding, hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think of this video, and I will see you in the same spot right back here next week. So until then, have fun, stay safe, I'll see you soon. Peace.